Hey everybody, how are you tonight? Thank you for being here. Hello, Holly and Lee, my most faithful attendees. Nice to see you guys in the comments. Hello, hello. I'm going to give people a couple of minutes to join in, say hello if you're here. I'd love to know who's here. I'm going to apologize again for my super echoey room that I'm in. So sorry if the sound's a little weird. I just recently redid my craft room. You can see I don't even have anything on my shelves yet, hardly. So it's very echoey in here. So I apologize for that. Hi, Mari. Hello, Peggy. Hi, Linda. Hello, Nicole. Hi, Mindy. Hi, Kathleen. Hi, everybody. Well, thank you for tuning in. We're going to do a fun little card class tonight. I'm going to make a card with the adorable squishy hugs, and we're going to make it interactive with the little hop, skip, and a jump little, what do you call those? Like little channels for your little interactive sliding thing in there. So it's going to be really fun. Hi, Wendy. Hello, my friend in Canada. Hi, Debbie. First time here. Welcome. Thank you. Thank you for coming. This is only my second time doing one of these evening card class based on a release things. And I do want to apologize for the next release. I promise we're going to have the info out really early so that you guys know what's going to be happening in advance. I did the blog post for this one this morning because I was busy doing my craft room redo. I don't even have everything back in here yet. So it was not good timing to plan a class, which when I said, oh, I'll do another one on February 22nd, I didn't really think it through. But I love the card that we're going to make. It's this cute little slider card. Like I said, using the squishy hugs. Hello, S. Madura. Nice to see you here. Hello, everybody. I hope I didn't miss anybody. Hi, Ree. I think I missed you. Hello, everybody. So this is the card we're going to make. If you want to make the card with me, you can color while we're chatting. You can just chat it up with me and not make a single thing. If you're watching on replay later, welcome. So this is what we're going to do. So there's going to be a whole lot of coloring going on in this card. And we're going to do the little slider channel. I'm going to talk about the way I did this one versus how I'm going to do the one tonight. Because you can see this I made kind of spinny. And there's a way to not make it spinny. Spinny is fun for some things. But on this one, I didn't really want him to be spinny. I want him to just be going straight in there, jumping into the pile. So I'm going to do it a little different on this one tonight so that it's not spinny like that. Hi, Francesca, resting in bed. You're in Europe, right? So it's probably very late for you. Thank you for being here. All right. So if you didn't already see on the blog today, mftstamps.com, and go to the blog in the community section, there is a handout that you could grab if you want to either print it or just have it open. And I put my little coloring guides on there. It's not like how to color, but it just shows all the colors that I used. And all of this, these two refer to Olo marker colors because that's what I'm using. But on this side, I did go and suggest Copics that you could use instead of Olos if you have Copics, or you can just refer to the colors in general for whatever markers you like to use, or pencils, or whatever you're going to color with. So it's a little guide to colors. There's a lot of markers listed because there's a lot of little images on this card. And so I think with these, the hardest thing is just figuring out how, what colors to use and how to pull it together. Lee's using your pencils. I love it. So I like to refer, I've said this many times on lives, I like to go to the website and pull up the product on the website and look at how the design team did their cards, because that's good inspiration. Even seeing how they did the shadows versus the highlights and everything else, because there's a lot of really talented people. And there's a few card samples for this one. There's not a ton, but there's a few. And, that can kind of help you. I also, if you look, I'm going to go to my overhead camera now, so you don't have to look at my face anymore. my desk has a lot of things going on here, but I wanted to show you that on this card, so there's a lot of little images here, but I kind of repeated some of my colors, maybe even a little too much. I hadn't decided, but like I did yellow, yellow, yellow. I did pink, pink, pink. I did the aqua, 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 or whatever you want to call that color. And then I did a little purple here and purple here. I did orange, orange, orange. So I kind of picked those combos and then just used them throughout the card. So if you don't like the colors I use, you can kind of use that same general idea when you're picking your colors. Like if you wanted to do more like a baby blue and a regular purple, you can just kind of do the same thing as far as picking which ones to use, if that makes sense. And then I have my cute little panda, so I have the black on a couple of them carried through as well. I went with the same aqua on his little snout or whatever you call it on a bear, a muzzle. I'm not sure what you call it on a bear, but anyway, just to tie the colors together a little bit. And I did use oranges on my cat because I used to have a orange tabby, and this looks like an orange tabby to me. It could be a gray tabby, it could be whatever you want, but I decided to go with the kind of the orange colors. My cat that I had that kind of looked like that, his name was Mango the tropical cat. He was such a good kitty. And he passed away right when I was pregnant with my son. So it was like my fur baby passed away to make room for my real baby, or whatever you want to call it. I don't mean to say real, because fur babies are real babies, but you know what I'm saying. Okay. Anyway, so Lee says, for those of us who collect squishmallows, we do have many of the same colors. Lee, I was wondering as I was doing this, are these like squishmallows that I could have looked up and said, oh, this guy is a certain color scheme if you had the actual stuffed animals? I was curious about that, but I didn't actually Google it to try to figure that out. But aren't they cute? And I love to do the rosy cheeks, and I love to do all the little white highlights on them. I do black glaze pen on the eyes. So we'll talk about all that. And then the background is ink blended with some splatters, and so we'll do that as well. And then the other thing I wanted to mention is I use some pattern paper on the back of this because I just thought the black and white was just kind of fun and funky. And that's from the Black and White Stripes 6x6 pad. It just has 2 designs repeated, diagonal stripes, and then, parallel stripes, or I don't know what you call it, up and down stripes. And I did notice that this one is currently out of stock on the website, but any kind of background panel, you could just do a solid color. You could do any other pattern paper on the background if you don't have that exact one. But you could always notify me to know when it does come back in stock if you're interested in that one. Let's see. Lee says you can always look up squishmallows and you'll be surprised to find many exact or similar for sure. Fun. All right, Francesca, I'll show you how to use those sliders. They're really, really easy to use. So we'll do that when we get to it. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to start the process for my sliders just because I want my first side of glue to dry. And so to do the sliders, the little slider in the channel, I use these replenishments, which are called spin and slide discs. And they're just these little round plastic discs. See what they look like there? Just kind of thick, kind of like thick like foam tape. And I'm going to take 2 of them. And that's the difference that I'm going to do on this card versus the first one that I did where it was spinny, because you can make them spin or you can make them kind of go more smooth. I'm going to just put these in my little container and not try to get them back in the bag right now. I do have my little crop and crate dish here that I filled with, I just did a whole bunch of stamping and die cutting so I would have it ready to go. And I just wanted to show you, this is just a little thing that I did to practice. But see how this guy, he just goes, you can't spin him. He just goes right on his little channel, just sliding there. And this one, he just spins all the way around. And the difference is on this guy, I only put 1 of the discs, where on this one, I put 2. And so that keeps him more stationary. And so on tonight's, I am going to do 2. Now, as far as my circles, you can do any kind of little circle on your discs. And I die cut a bunch of them here. I just happened to have this sitting out, and so I used it. And it has 3 different sizes of circles in there. And so that's where these came from. If you had circles in a stacks set, a circle stacks, even if it's stitched, it doesn't really matter because it doesn't even show. If you have circle punch, if you have any kind of little circle that you can make, you want to have a circle that is small enough that it will not show on the back. Let me just try to show you this here. I'm going to use the medium size of the 3 that I die cut. This will all make sense. I know I'm a little bit all over the place, but it'll all make sense as we go. And so I'm going to put 2 of those on there. And so you can see how that circle, my big fingers aren't, I think there's some static holding it, but you can see how 2 of them will fit on the back of that. And so that's the size I'm looking for so that I can fit 2 of them on the back of my little kitty. So if you're looking for something to die cut, to use your little spin and slide discs, that's what you want to look for. All right, so I'm going to get them glued on one side so that I have that ready to go. Yeah, a hole punch will work for sure. If you happen to have a little hole punch that's the right size, that will certainly work as well. And I'm just putting down a little bit of glue, and then I'm going to glue my little disc right onto that circle so that it is ready to go. And then I'm just going to set those off to the side and let the glue set. If I can slide them. Okay, and then I'm going to get these little circles out of the way, and then I think we're just going to go ahead and start coloring after this. Set those to the side. Okay, we're going to need 2 more circles, so you need 4 in total for what I'm doing, but we're starting with just that. I feel like my overhead camera is breaking up a little. I'm sorry if it's not great. I'm not sure why it would be doing that, but we just got a new router in our house, actually, just last night. And when I went to start this live, my lights, I have on Wi-Fi so that I can control them on my computer. And I couldn't get them to turn on. And I think it's because our Wi-Fi password and everything had changed. And so I was struggling with that right before we started here. So again, the colors I used are on these cards, and they are also on the website, since I'm sure that is a little hard to see when it's farther away from the camera. And hello, I have to say hello to my friend Tammy and send her a squishy hug if she's still watching as well. Nice to see you here. Okay, I'm going to grab actually a piece of paper. I love my glass mat, but I don't actually like to Copic or Olo marker color right onto it. I like to have something under my paper. So I'm going to grab a piece of copy paper for that. All right, and I usually stand when I do these, but then I get really tired of standing. So I actually just got a new chair, and I think I'm going to try sitting while I do this, and we'll see how that works. I didn't get a new chair. We have a local Buy Nothing group on Facebook for my zip code. I don't know if any of you ever use a Buy Nothing group, but I kind of love it. You just offer things, like I put gift if I'm trying to get rid of something and put it on there. And people come get it if they need it. And then, you know, if you're looking for something, you can say in search of, and it's just a way to put less in the landfill and just share what you have, I guess. So I think it's kind of cool. All right, I'm going to start on my kitty. And my kitty up here, I did do mostly a 3-color blend. That's extra, you know, you don't have to do a 3-color blend. If you want to do 2 colors, you can do 2. You can color them all 1 color solid. It doesn't matter. But to do the coloring that I did, I like to do a 2-color blend. And I was being a little bit extra with my coloring and actually doing 2 different colors on the cheeks. I don't even know if you can even tell, but if you get real close on those little cheeks, let's see, like that bear, can you tell there's like kind of a lighter pink on the outside of the darker pink? And so that's why there's 2 colors there for the cheeks. And then this was what I used on, not on that one actually. That's all a lie right there in that picture. But on this one, I used the grays. It's just warm grays 1 and 3 on the little stripes on the kitty. That's funny. This was one I had colored originally to put on there. And I changed it up on my final card. All right, so these are my Olos that I'm going to use for that coloring. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of just go and do all the orange things and then like all the pink things, you know, just kind of work in sections on my images. And again, this is from the Squishy Hugs stamp set. Did I ever even show you guys this? I'm not sure. This is the stamp set that I'm using. It's so cute. It has the big group of squishes, and then it has 2 separate ones that, you know, are a pair. Then it has a little dog and a cat that can be jumping into the pile. Of course, you can use all these separately, and it has some cute little messages as well. And I use the I'm coming in for a squish because that cat is diving into the pile, so he's coming in for a squish, right? And so when I color, I like to start with the darker color first, and I do it I kind of pick one area to do it from, and then go from there. Try to make sure I have it in the places where things come together. Like on this one, I started here and came down with it right around these little stripes, and then up into this little corner up here and down. I also did it down kind of under his chin or whatever you want to call him, onto his paw, and then down here on this paw, and then on the top of his head as well, around the little stripes. It's a little challenging with the big Olo tip to get around these little places, but if you're just real careful about just using the tip of it, it's not so bad. All right, and then I want to make sure and get some on his back foot here where it comes together. And then on his tail, I'm going to have to turn him the right way just for a second. kind of went on the outer part of his tail. All right, so that was with the first one. And again, if you want to have a closer look at these cards I have here, it's all on the MFT blog. All right, when I do the next color, the medium color, I kind of scrub, is what I call it. I just kind of go over and over that edge of that darker color to just try to blend it out. And on these little paws, there really isn't enough room to do the three colors. All right. Scrub-a-dub-dub. And this is going to be a whole lot of coloring in this class, like I mentioned, because there's just so much things to color. So are you guys coloring along with me? I'm very curious. If you're not, you should be chatting with me so I have something to talk to. Last night when I was working on some of this, I was watching the movie Knives Out. Have you guys seen that? I'll hold this up, by the way, once I get it colored with the first set of colors. And again, I'm taking the lighter color now, and I'm just kind of scrubbing again along that edge to blend it out. And even though I stamped this black ink quite a little while ago, I still don't just scrub or color right over the black ink. I still try to go around it just to make sure I'm not going to get anything smearing on me. It is a good Copic friendly ink, but you know, it just sometimes it just, depending on your humidity, depending on where you're at, depending on how long ago you did it, it can still smear a little on you, especially when you're coming in with a really light color like this. So I just try to avoid it, because why bring on that problem for myself, right? Right, then I look back. So have you guys seen Knives Out? That's such a good movie. Let's see. Holly, your room's still a mess. Mine's empty. Yours is a mess and mine's empty. And then I do go back in sometimes and do the colors again after all that work. And I do need to remember to like not take forever with this, else we'll be here all night, because I can really get in the mode of coloring and just keep at it and keep at it and keep at it. And then, you know, next thing I know, it's midnight. Francesca, you use Crayola color pencils. You do such beautiful, beautiful coloring. So that shows that you don't have to have the super expensive stuff. Does MFT sell the Olo sets? I'm not sure about sets. I know they do the complete set, Mari, but they also have the individual markers as well. All right, I'm going to go in with my 2 WGs now and do the little stripes. And you can see that, of course, I went a little out of the lines there at the bottom of the stripe on his head. So when I do this, I like to take the marker and kind of try to push that back where it belongs. Out of the area where I accidentally made my boo-boo. Just push, push, push. And I'm just going to go in with the other W. And actually, I didn't even mean to do this right now. I was going to just do all my oranges, but, you know, it's hard to decide what order to do things on when you're doing it in front of other people. So there's my little kitty. Isn't he cute? So, so cute. And then I did use a little bit. So my 2 R's here listed, RB02 and RB04. I'm going to put a little pink in his mouth. And then, like I said, when I was doing the cheeks, I was doing the light pink first, dot, 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 dot. I kind of go over it a few times in the same spot. So there is the first pink, and that is perfectly fine. I didn't have to keep doing more pink, but I don't know. I was just in that mood to do a little extra. And then I take the little bit darker pink and go right on top of it. And I'm trying to do it in the center of the other pink so that you kind of see 2 colors of pink. So can you see that? And then at the end, I'll go back and put all of the white highlights and stuff on all the things at once. All right, so my other oranges, I'm going to go ahead and do this This is like a squishmallow, but the same cat, right? Because it has the little stripes on the top of his head. And so I just colored it the same way. Francesca, you just started last November making cards. You're the one in the insiders group who's always sharing amazing coloring, right? I'm not mixing up my people, am I? Anyway, that's amazing. All right, I'm coming down and around. And by the way, I just mentioned the insiders group. If you aren't aware, MFT has a Facebook fan group called the My Favorite Things Insiders. And so if you haven't already, you should join that. No, I'm sorry, I'm on the wrong, I'm confusing people. Well, I'm sure you are also amazing. Oh, goodness. Okay, so I am going to go ahead and again go down in that little corner and around here a little bit. That's funny. Okay. And again, that little corner is kind of hard with the tip of this, but you try to keep it upright and just use the very, very tip of it when you're doing it. These markers go on like butter. They're so nice. Okay. Then I'm going to use the middle one again. Kind of do the scrub, 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 blend, blend, blend. Lee asked if it was true crime. No, Knives Out is just fiction. It's just, it's just a it's just a movie, just a whatever. It's just a movie. It's fun, but it is a mystery, and you have to try to, it has some twists and turns that you're not expecting. Even though I've seen it before, I still like watching it again. Looks like I missed one of his ears. Add a little darker corner of that one. And I will say, when I'm doing this, sometimes I start, doing the blends, and sometimes the colors are maybe a little bit like far apart, I guess you could say. And I'm like, ooh, I'm not sure that that's going to ever come together, but you just kind of keep working it. And it also just kind of smooths out a little too as it dries. But it, usually I'm happy with it, even though sometimes, not always, but sometimes during the process, I'm like, ooh, I'm not sure that that's gonna come together. And sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes if I pick two colors that are way too far apart, it won't necessarily be a smooth blend. But just keep kind of working it and see what we can do. I've also found that I really like to kind of be dramatic sometimes with like a real dark color down in the corners. Not always brave enough for that, which, if you think about it, it's silly that I feel like I have to be brave for that, because it's just paper, but anyway, what I'm trying to say is, when I look at like our design teams cards or different, people who color that I admire their coloring, a lot of times their contrast between the colors is really bold. And I'm trying to strive to be more like that, because I just love how it turns out. Okay, and then again, because I'm me, I went out of the lines. So that to me is an opportunity to try to fix it with the grays. That's what I do on most of these. So I'll take my darker gray again of the two. It's not a dark gray, it's W3, WG3, warm gray 3. And kind of just keep pushing at that a little to try to push it back in where it belongs with the other oranges. Have a little bit out of the lines there as well. And then along the outside, where there's the little white bit before the, where the die cut is, the key to that, and I mentioned that during the last class, our dragon class, was I just like to take a white gel pen at the end. And if I went out of the lines on the outer edge, I just cover that up with white gel pen. And that fixes a lot of errors for you. And I think on this little belly, I did do the WG0. Yeah, I do have that over there. Just so I don't make the belly completely like a darker gray. I want the lightest gray possible. So it's almost the weekend. Does anyone have any fun weekend plans? I can still see that orange. I'm going to try again. Now we'll come in and do these as well, these little stripies up here. Blend it out. That's where we are with that so far. If you guys can hear my dog, she just walked over to me now that I have this, it's not wood, but it, like a laminate floor here down in this room. I'm in the basement for my craft room, and the dog, you can hear her walking. You never could before. She was walking around while I was live because it was carpet, and I don't have carpet anymore. All right, on this one, I'm not going to bother coloring the nose because I'm going to come in and do that with the black glaze pen at the end. You can still see, I don't know if you can show up on the camera, but there's just a teeny bit of orange in the wrong area on the side there. But I'm not going to let that bother me because I think overall it looks fine. And I don't, you have to really look in at it to notice. And by the time I put like the white accents on here, it'll really be even less easy to see. So we have these two done so far. I'm going to go ahead and do the oranges on my little kitty here. So you can see here, there's another little kitty that's the same. He has the same little stripes at the top of his head. So I just colored that one the same as well. So, that's kind of how I approached this with so many different things to color, is I kind of tried to look if anything was like a like thing and do it the same. So we're going to come in here with the darker orange again, and I'm just using all these same colors, doing the exact same process that I did on the other two. Coloring this down. And if you guys have any questions while I'm doing this, please let me know. And by the way, if you are watching on replay especially and find you have a question, make sure and put it not in the chat, but in the right now, put it in the chat so I'll see it. But if you have one after the fact, if you're watching later and you find you have a question, put it in the main comments on this YouTube video, because then I will possibly see it. If it's in the live chat later, it'll be much harder for me to know that it's there, is all I'm trying to say. Yeah, not being perfect makes it comfy and cherished. That's right, Lee. He's so sweet. Yeah, I don't strive for perfection because I know that that's just not who I am. Oops, did I miss one of his ears? He has a little naked ear back there. I know it's far away when I'm doing this, and I apologize for that. I can't zoom my camera. I think I'm gonna, I've said this, and I know if you've been on my lives, you're like, you keep saying that. But now that I have my room redone, that was my first step of getting to where I could think about things, because before my room was such a mess, I couldn't even think hardly. Anyway, I want to try to switch this up so I can have a live setup that zooms. I think I'm going to wait on cheeks and just go and do them all at once at the end instead of going back and forth so much. So we'll do like a little cheek action at the very end. I even might stop doing grays. But when there's color there, I want to make sure and attack it. What's the host's full name? My name is Libby Hickson. Nice to see you. Thank you for joining in. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna put my oranges away because we colored all the little kitties. And again, if you are just getting here, let me just show you how I kind of went through and did all the orange coloring. Sorry, I'm holding these weird in my hand. On those three kitties. And now I'm gonna move into the next grouping of colors. I think I'm gonna do my yellows next. And that is on this. On this one, I did yellow bee, a yellow head on the chicken, and this little guy back here, I did yellow. And let me hold this up to show again. And again, this is on the MFT blog today. Not the very last post because we had a Christmas card challenge posted after it, but it was the post at 8 a.m. this morning Eastern time. So you can find that. And I even did it, I saved it as a PDF. So if anybody wanted to download it as the PDF and print it off, that's what this is. Okay. Wendy, I think it just makes it a little easier to group it instead of going back and forth 20 million times, especially if anyone is attempting to do what I'm doing, because I know I'm already kind of scattered and going all over the place, and I try to make it harder. Yeah, I try to make it harder for you guys. No, I try to make it easier for you guys to follow along. All right, so I'm starting with my middle yellow, which is the Y 2.3. I don't know why on these yellows, I just felt like I wanted to start with that one instead of the darker. And for the darker, I actually picked a Y0, where this one's a Y, just to give it a little bit darker color to it. And yeah, Lee is one of our guests who makes cards for the MFT challenge. And so she had a wonderful little gnome Christmas card on the blog today, on MFT blog, if you wanted to take a peek at that. I'm going to go in and do the light yellow across the center. Up there, I did have a little bit of the orange going down where it's not supposed to be. I'm bad about coloring out the lines anyway, but it's even worse when I'm live. All right, now I'm going back in with the very darkest, which was the Y0 2.3 to add around the edges. And because this is like a round little bee, I kind of go from both sides to kind of give it a roundness by coloring a little shadow on both sides rather than just on one side. This guy, for example, this guy's looking off to that side. Oops, you can't see my hand. He's looking over this direction. And so I made the darker shadow in this area, but he's looking straight on and he's a round little bee. So wanted to go ahead and color on both sides of him. Blend in some of that darker yellow out. And then go back to my lightest one again. The little bee's so cute, isn't he? All right. Lee and Holly, can you remember when we did the dragon class? I said a hashtag to use if you share what you make on Instagram, and I don't remember what it was. Was it MFT card class? If you guys remember or could even go peek, that'd be amazing so that we can share that. And if anybody does make a card, I would love to see it. If anybody is inspired to color these little squishies or I don't know, use similar coloring on anything else. There were a couple other Squishmallow sets. Well, there was another Squishmallow, and then there was one during the January release that was just cute little, like little animals that had the same kind of look to it. MFT card class. Thank you, Holly. Thank you so much, my friend. So if you do share on Instagram, and if you could use MFT card class, that would help me to see it. You can also tag at MFT Stamps, and you can also tag me on Instagram. I am, let's see, do I have a pen somewhere here? Stampin' Libby. I've been Stampin' Libby for a really, really long time. I'm like from the days of when you used a fake name instead of your actual name on social media. But it's accurate, right? I am Stampin'. Okay. Yeah, gnomes are fun to color. And MFT has a lot of really fun gnomes. All right, chicken head, bee, and then I did this little guy over here with the dark yellow as well. Not dark yellow, with yellow. Again, I'm just kind of going along the edges with the dark and down into the crevices. Hello, Brianne, my sweet friend. How are you doing tonight? Going in with the medium yellow. Blend, blend, blend. And then the lightest yellow. Wendy, your granddaughter collects squishmallows. I think so does Lee. Here in the comments. Yeah, there's some cute little sets that MFT. Jenna Blade is our designer for these. Jenny, the illustrator who drew these adorable sets, and she just loves that kind of stuff. She loves her squishies. She loves superhero stuff. Fun stuff. Brienne, big hugs to you, my friend. Big hugs. Uh-oh, my dog is whining. I might have to get up and let her outside of my room. Nicole, you collect them as well. Have fun. Yes, I love the stamp set. Hi, Tiffany. Tiffany's on the MFT design team as well. And I was emailing her earlier because we have an upcoming release, and one of the cards she made is so awesome. And I can't wait for you guys to see it. You might see it tomorrow. Is that tomorrow, Tiffany? I'm drawing a blank right now. I'm going to go let my dog out. I'll be right back. Just a few steps over, not far. I thought she'd want to be in here with me, but nope. She said, let me out. Okay. Yellows are done. Oh, there is one more yellow that I did on this. The cute little horns on this guy back here. It's like a big horn sheep almost. I don't know what they are, but I colored them yellow. Super cute. Tiffany. Well, I'm here for it. I thought it was awesome. So you guys have to tune in tomorrow to Tiffany's blog or social media to see what we're talking about, because it's fun. It's a super fun set. I don't know if you saw posted, but the February release is coming next week on Tuesday. So another fun MFT release is coming up. And so the countdown starts tomorrow, and there's going to be some fun cards shown. I know, killing everybody with these releases, but they're so good, right? So good. And on Tuesday, I'm going to have hopefully the info for my next class that I do like this. And so you'll know what I'll be using, and you can decide if it's something you want to play along with. So, okay, yellow's back in the bin. Let's go ahead and do the gray, black, whatever on the bee and the panda. And for that, I use the grays, the cool grays rather than the warm, because that cool gray, at least on the Olos, really gave a good kind of a black look without it being a true black. And so I did go ahead and I think I used 9, 7, and 5 on the bee. And then I used the lighter gray, the 3, when I got into the panda, because you can see that I didn't want it to be like super, super black around its eyes. I wanted you to be able to see that little eye in the middle. And so I used the lighter gray. And on this panda, I'm going to go the darkest over here and then lighter as I go across. And on the ears, it's darker down in the corner and then lighter. Same with the eyes. And I didn't put the darkest black on the eyes of the panda. I just put like I think I just used the 753 on the eyes. So, okay, so that's what I'm going to work on next. Those are my warm grays. Let me get these all out. Let's see. Okay. Yay. Brianne's working on some kitting for me. She loves well, I hope I'm correct to say you love Brianne, but she likes the repetition and stuff, the mindlessness of die cutting and doing kitting like that. It helps her take her mind off maybe some other things. So, and I so appreciate her help. It's like a win-win. All right, I'm going to do the little antenna with the darkest black on this bee. And again, really a little bit small. And I'm just trying to use the very tip of my Olo and not go out of the lines. And I think I succeeded, yay. I'm just gonna put some of this darker black along the edge. And then the whole feet get covered in black, and they kind of blend in with that bottom stripe, but I didn't worry about it. That was easy. Bring that out a little. Bring this side out a little. All right. She thrives on kidding. Hugs, hugs, hugs. It's awesome. And yes, I'm going to crop on the Cape, which is my friend Jen Shirkus's event in Cape Cod. Oh, sadness. I just went out the lines. Shh, let's pretend I didn't do that. I'll see if I can fix that with a little yellow, but that's going to be tough because it's black. Not really black. It's CG7. And each time I'm kind of scrubbing the little area before it. Not sure I use the lightest on this center, but I am this time. Going all the way down to CG3. I might put a little bit more on that to try to blend it out a little bit better. See where I went a little tiny bit on that top stripe. Oops. All right, I'm gonna go back with the CG7 and just try to do a little bit more blending. And then CG5. Are they as pointy as Copics? Hold on one second. I'll go grab a Copic and I can show you side by side if you're curious. And I don't have the bullet nibs, so you can get bullet nibs for Copics, which are much smaller. I just have the brush and the chisel, and I never use the chisel. So I've always said I should trade all those out for the bullet nibs, but it's an investment. I've never spent all that money to do that. Let me see if I can fix this little dot at all. Oh, I'm just making a blob of yellow that I don't want there. I'm going to stop before I make it even worse, which I did make it worse. So yeah, don't do that. I was better off with just not having that there. Yeah, Peggy, my buy. I don't know if you joined late and you're not live right now, because I talked about the Buy Nothing group a while ago, but yeah, it's awesome. I love having that as well. Yeah, I'm being real smeary with my black into my yellow this time. Darn it. All right, Panda. Panda, I'm going to do the same kind of thing. I'm going to start with the dark color over here. Try not to go out the lines. I don't know if you guys know this, but when you're watching on a YouTube live rather than like a Facebook live, you can pause and you can start watching later from the beginning. And so sometimes you're not with the live part of it, and you can hit the little word that says live, and that will actually take you to the live portion. So if you got behind and wanted to catch up, just so you know, that's a little thing that you can do on YouTube when you're watching a YouTube live. Tiffany, I don't actually know which white I grabbed, which is kind of stupid, but I don't know which one I'm using tonight, because I had some white panels already cut and I lost track of which ones they were when I was doing all my taking things in and out of my craft room. So yeah, I don't know. But my color is smearing a little, so it might not be the very best. I often will use Nina for my Copic coloring. Sometimes I use Hammermill. MFT has the great no line coloring white cardstock that I like to use. So C5, I didn't mean to do that. C3 is what I wanted. That's where we are. I think it's a little choppy there with my blend on that stripe, so I need to work on that a little bit better. Try this one. 7, CG5. CG3. Yes, post office. Post office, I need to do that. My sunroom is filled with things I need to mail. Yeah, Adriana, I think when we were talking about buy nothing, we were talking about Facebook groups. There's like a buy nothing Facebook group, which means people give away stuff in it. So like if I was, I'm like, I don't want I don't know. I'm not having a good idea. I'm not going to use this water bottle anymore. So I'm going to post it in there and say gift water bottle. And if somebody wants it, they can come pick it up. And yeah, it's a really great way for just sharing things that you have excess of. I'm gonna come back and do my warm grays, but I actually did warm gray here on the head of the panda, just FYI. I did cool grays for the black, and then I did warm grays on his head. I did warm gray here, 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 and on that little belly. And so I'm gonna do all those in one pass once I get some other things done. Yeah, so there's buy nothing groups by zip code. So it's very like it's a kind of a national thing. My friend Lydia Fiedler, who's in Austin, Texas, she first told me about it because there was one in her area, and I don't know who starts them, but you know, they're very like you have to live within only these zip codes. Like I couldn't give things away to a zip code that's not the 2 that are in my group, if that makes sense. So. Okay, I'm going to do my pinks now, and the 3 pinks that I use from Olo are RV04, RV02, and RV01. And it's on this one right here, they're listed. And I'm going to do it on this one, and this one in the back. Okay. I don't think you even have neighbors, do you, Lee? Is there anyone that you would trade supplies with? I don't even know. But also when I was getting ready to do the new floors and everything in my craft room, and I needed some like moving boxes to pack things in so that I could bring everything, because I had to take every single thing out of this room, and it was a lot of work, let me tell you, because I did not have a nice, neat room. I had pretty much a disaster area of a room, which some of you know who saw the pictures that I posted and embarrassed myself by posting them on Instagram and Facebook. And so in that Buy Nothing group, I posted in there, does anyone have moving boxes that they don't need? And sure enough, people had them. And so that was great. I got to just go and pick up boxes and use them. And then when I was done with them, I passed them on to somebody else who needed boxes. So just stuff like that. Just kind of cool. Feels less wasteful, you know, when you do stuff like that. Oh, now my dog is at the door wanting back in. Too bad. You made your choice, Bonnie. Have you always lived in Colorado on the top of a mountain, Lee? Or did you end up there from somewhere else? I've always wondered that, and don't think I've ever asked you that. You sure live in a beautiful place. So again, when I go from, you know, the one color to the next, I call it scrubbing. I just scrub on the edge of that color to help blend it out. I will hold this up in a second. Going around all the black. I did miss some darker pink on the feet and the little arm. So I'll go back in and add that. I'm feeling a little conscious of the fact that we're almost an hour in and I still have so much more coloring to do. I'm a little bit of a slow colorer. I was telling Jody, my colleague at MFT earlier, that I am a slow colorer, and I'm living up to that. I'm not making myself a liar. There it is so far. I might go in and work on all of this a little more. Let's see. No, we have lived mainly rural since I married a mountain man, but I was raised in the suburbs of Denver. So always Colorado, but you were in the city back in your younger days. Wendy, I can't wait to see. I hope you share what you make with it for your granddaughter once you give it to her. I'd love to see. Holly has a country boy and Lee has a mountain man. Pretty cool. Okay, let's see. Okay, getting sidetracked here. Let me go ahead and add some dark pink down into the nooks and crannies of this little whatever it is, goat. I don't know. Aren't those little curly Q antlers or horns on that like something you'd find in Colorado, Lee? Is that like a mountain goat? I don't know. Longhorn sheep. And I see I went out of the lines, which may be, it's right there, may be why I decided to do the guy right next to him pink, because maybe on my original, I also went out of the lines in that same place. And I said, well, there's already pink there. Might as well make that one pink as well. When we had, I did a live in December on the MFT YouTube where I had Lori Craig from Olo Markers join me, and she talked all kinds of things about Olos, and it was really interesting. And unfortunately for part of it, she was having some Wi-Fi struggles, and so her Wi-Fi got good like right as we were about to be done, which was a bummer. But one thing she mentioned is she doesn't recap these. Like I keep putting the caps back on, and I don't really need to. I can just leave those caps off while I'm coloring. It's just habit, I feel like I don't want them to dry out, but she said they are not going to dry out while you're just doing this little bit of coloring. And so you can leave those caps off. And I need to really do that because I waste so much time going back and forth with putting the cap on, taking the cap off, and it's just not necessary. Will the Olo markers be restocked soon? I didn't realize they were out, but I'm guessing that they probably will be restocked soon. They were just part of a sale, and so that's probably why they're low right now. I don't know the details of when, but if you wanted to get those from MFT, you can always do the notify me on the website. And when things come back in stock, if it's something that you want and they're out, you do the notify me and you'll get a little email when it's available again. And I think, I don't know, have you guys I think Olo was maybe going to have some new colors at some point this year, and I haven't gone to their website to see if that's happened yet. I know they're not at MFT yet, but I would love to get a hold of some new colors. Wonder what they are adding. I'm going back and playing with these bunnies. I don't know why I am. It's a sickness, I tell you. Just trying to blend it a little bit more. I have like a square on this guy. I didn't mean to make it so square. This is where we're at. See how he's kind of like, whoop, got a square on there. Oops. April. Adriana heard it would be April. That would be exciting, wouldn't it? You guys are both off looking for Olos. Yeah, Olos are fun. So once you can get your hands on them, I do recommend it if you can swing it. The colors are really pretty. I have a color chart over at my desk. I can go grab that after I finish coloring this whole panel. And I'm just going in with the darkest of the pinks to color the heart on his belly. I think when I was making this card originally, I meant to go in and do some kind of shading on that, and then I never got around to it. And I'm like, not necessary. Let's see, make sure I get the right caps back on now that I took them all off. And when you get Olo markers, if you aren't aware of how these things come, you don't refill them like you do a Copic. They actually, they come in like this, so with little, oops, I'm not on screen, sorry, half markers. And so you can have different colors together. Like I could have had, have it like this, where I have a dark pink here and a light pink here to make one marker. But when I did I'm one of the founders, they called it, when these first came out 2 years ago. I went ahead and bought the whole shebang. And so I have several, I had several of the same color. And so I just decided to make my whole markers one color. But that's not how you don't have to do it that way. You can have them be half and half. And then so the price of one marker becomes a lot less because you have two different colors in it, if that makes any sense. How did I decide the color palette? I like I mentioned earlier, I do like to go and look what you guys do, Tiffany, you and the rest of the design team at MFT. And I kind of like get some inspiration for colors sometimes from you guys because you're so dang talented. And I just tried to like pick 3 for each color and go from there. It's not that's not exactly how it worked out. Like, so there was 1, 2, 3 of the orange. There was 1, 2, 3 of the pink. There was green, 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 or aqua teal, whatever that color is. But then I only have 2 of the purple. I had yellow, 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 and then I had black, black with only 2. But I tried to pick some blending families and then use them multiple times throughout instead of doing every single thing a different color. I did try to rein it in a little, even though, I mean, honestly, if you look at this, the colors are a little wacky, but I still think it's cute, So yeah, I don't know if that helps, but that's how I did it. One thing I could have done when I had my oranges out, I'm going to grab them again, is do the little beak and the foot on this chicken. I think it's a chicken. I'm just doing the darker orange and then the medium orange on that. I'm going to go into the teal, and I did 4 teals on this because 4 BGs. I don't know why, I just did. I think I was doing these 3, and then it just needed a little bit more contrast, and that's when I brought in the real dark one. Like I mentioned earlier, I'm really trying to embrace going with going big with the dark colors of what I'm coloring. So on this, I'm going to actually wait. I'm going to do the 3 and then go in with that at the end. Yeah, they come in every color imaginable. I know. And it'd be cute. You could do you could do a rainbow across, where you have like red, orange, as you go across. You could just kind of do them all the same shades, just variances of the same color. If you look at the design team, like Carly on the MFT team, she did one that's just like really light and soft. I don't even know how she colors so soft. It's so pretty. Where I don't know. I can never be that soft with my colors, but it's so pretty. Yeah. But it can be a little chaotic if you use just like a million different colors. So sometimes if you just kind of pick some color families and go from there, you don't want to have your marker completely dry before you get a chance to blend it. And I may be being a little risky doing this. I probably shouldn't. I'm going to stop. Do you guys know what I was saying there? I started coloring all the things on here with the marker, and I don't want to get too carried away with that because then it'll be even harder to blend the colors if you let it get completely dry. You want to have your paper wet with the alcohol to really help yourself be able to blend. Again, I'm going scrub, scrub, scrub. Sometimes if you were trying to figure out colors for something, I could have Googled these stuffed animals and looked at some of the colors. But for example, if you have a set that's turtles, okay, you could Google cartoon image. Ooh, what did I do? I went in the wrong order, and so I started adding a darker color. Okay, I was using my lightest. See, you guys, I wasn't paying attention to what I was doing. Oopsie. So that was a harder transition that I was just trying to blend. That's kind of funny. So I'm going to have to go back and add more of that. Anyway, if you had a stamp set that's a bunch of turtles, right? And you're trying to figure out what color should I use to color turtles, you could go and Google cartoon coloring turtles, something like that, and then that would bring up some images for you that have some color combos. And it wouldn't be maybe the exact markers you have or whatever, but you could use that as color combo inspiration, things like that. If that made sense. I was trying to explain it while having a coloring disaster. So. All right, I'm going to go back in with my darker one now. Let's see. Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with chaotic. If you want to have it like your actual Squishmallow collection in chaotic, that's fine too. Yes, Adriana, they have like a wand kind of thing that you can put on your short little marker. But again, you can put two colors together as well. But if you don't want to have your two colors together, there's like I don't know what you want to call it, like a handle that you can get to put on the marker to make it long. I think MFT even has that on their site, actually. I'm adding this darker blue now. I didn't have it initially because I want a little bit of it. I don't want to have it like overpowering the blue. So I really wanted to just kind of go right along the edge with that darker one. And I'm going to take the next darkest and try to blend that a little. Oh my gosh, my dog. She's just scraping at my door, wanting back in. Do you hear her? She just sighed. It's like she knew I was talking about her. Do you guys have dogs? Do they ever make a sound that sounds like they're sighing? Like, come on, let me in. Yeah, that's why, Wendy, it's, it really is best to kind of focus on one thing and get it colored and then move on to the next thing rather than being impatient, which I almost was there, and trying to just do too much at one time, because it just makes it harder on yourself to get it to blend. Do you guys do this? I have my image completely upside down, but just, I don't know, sometimes depending on what I'm coloring, I feel more comfortable with it being in this orientation. So just put it however you need to have your image to be able to color it easier for you. Hi, Rosie. How are you, my friend? Good to see you. Is Bonnie related to your cat? Does your cat sigh also, Wendy, or does it just change its mind all the time, whether it wants in or out? Rosie made such an awesome card the other day with Hero Art stuff, where she used the composition book and a Walkman on it, and it was so awesome. I loved it. Loved it. Okay, let's see. I didn't do the little eye on this side. Is that the only other blue that I missed, or teal? Actually, the little wings on the bee are also the tealies. Like a yo-yo going in and out. Yes. Yes. Helps you see the shapes of the images better if you have it upside down. I agree. Yeah, MFT Walkman. Yeah, it was so good. So good. I loved it. Okay. Dark. BG darkest. Another old movie. I'm all over the place with what I'm talking about, but when you're in your craft room talking to yourself, even though you are kind of talking to people in a chat, but it is kind of like talking to yourself. Your mind goes all over. But another really old movie that I watched the other day, it was like I don't even know what channel I was on, but was The Fugitive. Do you remember that movie with Harrison Ford and Tommy Lee Jones? It's really good. I hadn't seen that in so long, and it was really good. I like to have movies on when I'm crafting that I've seen, because then I don't have to pay like complete close attention because I already kind of know what happens. But anyway, so the butterfly wings, I think I just used the two lightest. I didn't go like with a super dark on these. Not butterfly, but the bumblebee. I am having fun. I love coloring. Coloring is so relaxing. Slightly less so when you're doing it live and don't want to go out of the lines and make a fool of yourself, but it still is. Oh, Elf. I love Elf. Elf is so good. Elf is like my tradition when we're putting up the Christmas tree. I like to watch Elf. You can see I really went out of I didn't go out of the lines necessarily, but I just touched the yellow up to the black a little too much and it spread, which makes me very unhappy. That's okay. Oops. I am going to need a BG when I color my little purple bear, just for his snout. And I think I used the second darkest one. I mean, second lightest. Okay, now my purples. So for my purples, I did V 0.4, 0.3, and 1.1, which is, it's a jump, but it's lighter. And so I just wanted a lighter purple, and so that's what I used. And on this, I mentioned on the website, but there really aren't any good equivalents of for Copics to match these shades of purple, which is just kind of interesting. I couldn't really find any. And I use I mentioned this in my last class as well, but Sandy Allnock put together an Olo to Copic and Copic to Olo, and she has other mediums as well, but she does these charts that you can download from her site, Sandy Allnock, and it tells you, what the things are. And there were a lot of these colors that were not exact colors on Sandy's chart. And so then I just went in and found some that I thought were close enough, similar, so that if you wanted to do Copics, you had some idea, some starting point. But I just picked 3 other purples. So those are not, they're clearly not the same. These are more bright magenta-like almost, where these are more true purples. But that was just a suggestion if you still wanted a purple, but you could use something completely different as well if you don't have the Olos. So yes, Sandy is amazing. I agree. So what was I doing? Oh yes, purple. So on this one, I'm going to go in and do around the edges with the darker of the purples. It's really the same thing on all these, right? I'm doing the darker color first around the edges of my little blending trio that I'm using. And then I just work my way in. And so it's if you get like the hang of that on one, it's just the same thing, but with different colors. That's all it is. And I, again, am not any expert at coloring by any means, but I do what I have fun with, and it works, I think, pretty much. Yeah, it's a great conversion chart. So, I meant Sandy's is, but I hope that's useful to you too as well, Wendy. And I can't wait to see what you make when you get the stamps. Okay, I'm gonna have to go put my poor dog out of her misery, which sounds terrible. I don't mean it like that, but to let her into my room. Out of the lines. Boo. Boo, boo, boo. And again, since this color is not of the same, 0 point something, it's 1.1. It is a little harder to blend it, but I just thought it looked pretty to have this lighter purple in here. And one thing, I don't know if you guys know this, but when you're using alcohol markers and you take a lighter color and put it onto the darker, it'll kind of take away the color, just like if you used a colorless blender on it. And so you have to be careful. Like here, you can kind of see a divot almost that I did by putting that light color up into the darker. So you have to be careful. It can really, I don't know how I'm trying to say this, but it can make holes in your color that you didn't intend for it to make. I guess is a way to say it. Right. And then I did use the purple on the little bow tie of this pink guy back behind here and the hat. And then I used a cool gray actually on the stripe of the hat, and I used it to add a little bit of shading onto the bow tie as well. And then I also have to color my little bear here. He was also with the purples. So I'm going to go along the edge of him here. Do a little purple back here and here. And again, I said earlier that I don't have to keep putting my caps on and off, but yet I'm still doing it. Tiffany, you're leaving me from the team purple to go to teal? I don't know about that. Just kidding. I love teal. Teal's so pretty. I forgot to do a little of the darker purple on the ear, so I'll go back and add that. Scribble, scribble, scribble. You get lost in my coloring and I stop talking. Okay, put that back on. Oh, Rosie, that lasagna soup was so good. And I used the gluten-free noodles, which I'm not gluten-free, but I feel like I just feel better if I eat pasta that's gluten-free rather than full of gluten. I don't know. So I followed the recipe with that. And I'm like, ooh, that was good. Okay, what do we have left? I need to do the cool grays on all the white bellies and stuff. I could just leave them white. There's nothing wrong with that at all. And actually they look more white, obviously, if I don't add all that gray to it. This is kind of bugging me. There's like too much of a harsh edge there. I mean, I guess there kind of was in my original. I blended it a little bit better, but I don't know. Should I just not worry about it since it's already... I have to go in a little. I'm sorry. That's just who I am. See if I can pull that out a little. There. Okay, I'll stop. Stop. Okay, and then I need to use these. I don't know why I had a W5 out. I guess I used that on my original kitty. Did I use it today? I don't remember. I might have just used W3, 1, and 0 on his belly, which I think is fine. So I might have put an extra color on there we didn't really need. What'd you make for dinner tonight? Oh, I missed that, Tiffany. Yeah, I made the lasagna soup and I made a chicken Florentine. These are all Instagram recipes that I was seeing, and I wanted to try to. I was just telling my friend Tammy, I want to like make real food, real recipes. You know, I haven't been cooking as much because my kids, you know, as they were littler, were so dang picky. It made me kind of hate cooking. I used to love cooking, and then I got to where I didn't enjoy it because everybody complained about everything I made. I'm like, why am I bothering? Anyway, so I've been trying to do more recipes and stuff. But tonight I didn't. Tonight I said, I'm teaching a class at 8 p.m. Husband, can you please go get Chipotle? And so he did. So that's what we had tonight. No recipes tonight. I forgot about that little area right there where purple went. Libby, isn't that my lightest? That is my lightest. I guess it just shows. That does not look the lightest. What is going on here? No, it is. It's just that that was already dry, so it looks whatever. didn't put the wrong. Yeah, I don't know. Just tried to get rid of a little purple there. You guys don't even know what I'm talking about, and I'm like going crazy here. All right, so I put the warm grays on those bellies. I'm going to do it on the chicken and the panda. I think I'm really going to go just W1 and W0, WG1 and WG0, because I don't want to have it be super dark gray or anything. I don't know. To me, it just adds a little something to have that color there rather than just leaving it stark white. Just makes it look like I did something. But again, there's nothing wrong with leaving it white. Then it would be more of a true white if you don't mess with it the way I just did. Okay. So let's see. Are you way behind, Lee? Yeah, I should do a class sometime with pencils because I haven't used those in so long. That'd be fun. Ordering factor meals. I think I see that advertised to me in my Instagram, actually. Okay, so now I'm going to get all these markers out of the way. And what I have left to do are my little cheeks because I love the rosy cheeks. And then I have to add my white and my black glaze pen and my white gel pen, which I actually use a Posca paint pen instead of a gel pen. I get so much better results with it. Gel pens kind of drive me crazy because I often will, I don't know, they're not flowing right. And then I mess up what I was trying to make dots on and stuff. And with the Posca pen, I don't ever I say I don't ever, and I'm probably going to have bad results tonight, but I don't usually have any issues with it. Okay, so again, I'm going to do all the light ones, and then I'm doing 2 shades of pink on the cheeks because I was feeling kind of extra, I guess. Instead of just doing one, I did a lighter pink and a darker pink layered on top of each other. And I never know where some of these animals, it's like, where do you put the cheek? I don't even know. It doesn't seem to matter. Just pick a spot and go with it and try to make it somewhat the same on both sides, both cheeks. And it's fine. You know, it looks cute no matter what you do for the most part. Like this cheek is way over here, far from the other cheek, but the little pink cheeks, especially on this panda, are so cute because it's so black and white otherwise. I'll hold this up after I get the first cheeks and then the second cheeks. And I mean, you have to have little rosy cheeks on a bee, right? I think it's required. All right, so there it is with just cheeks. That could be fine. But what I did was I took the darker one, the RV 0.4, and I added a cheek on the cheek. So that you have kind of like a dark pink in the center and a lighter pink on the outside. And then it gets even cuter when I add all the little dots of white. And on some of these, the first light pink didn't even show up as well. And so adding the second really makes it so you can see it. Can you see? Like, I think you can kind of see on that one how there's like a light pink and a dark pink. I don't know. It's probably crazy. Probably overkill. I know. I'm always afraid I'll mess up it then too, especially with the white gel pen. The Posca fine. I think I need another Posca pen because I use it so much. I think it's running out. Yep. Fancy TV dinners. Factor meals are fancy TV dinners. Swanson TV dinners. Yes. Had those when I was little. Are you guys old enough to remember like having a TV dinner that was literally in like a aluminum tray and it had like the little divisions in it? I don't remember what. I think we'd have Salisbury steak or something, like peas and carrots and like some little apple thing. I don't know. We had those when I was a kid. So look at how kind of gunky my tip looks. That makes me a little nervous. But so this is the Posca paint pen. and it is a fine tip pen. It is acrylic paint in here. See that? So it's one of those where you push in the tip to get it going, and then it really started going out. So then I kind of rub it to get rid of all that excess. And the moment of truth. I'm going to go in here and go dot, 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 dot. And see, I can make just these fine little white dots on there. Ooh, focus. Isn't that cute? So cute. And then, I don't know, I just, sometimes with gel pens, I just don't get it to work right. And with this, I just never have a problem. And it is acrylic paint, so you do need to be careful that you don't smear it. Let it dry completely. Maybe it dries a little slower than a regular gel pen. I'm not sure. Some of these I put just one dot in the cheek. You can put 3 dots. I can see on this example up here, I forgot to even put a dot on this little guy. That's kind of funny. Oops. The only thing that messes up is my user error when I don't hit the spot right on the pink cheek. And, you know, all this white gel pen stuff, if you don't feel comfortable doing it, you certainly don't have to. But it makes me very happy. Okay, so there's step 1. Oh, what happened here? Hi, guys. I don't know why I did that. Go back to that. See the little dots, aren't they cute? Brownies and the turkey dinner. Yeah, that was one I liked better, I think, now that you mention it. Adriana, have you ever seen how people restamp after coloring? Oh, yeah, I love that. So like if you want to have the black line showing better and you've colored something, as long as it's right in the same place on your MISTI, yeah, I understood you had a little extra word thrown in there, Adriana. It should work, but you know, I get nervous too. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't hit any buttons, but yeah, it changed to make it so you could see my face. And hopefully I didn't do anything weird when you guys could see me and I wasn't realizing you could see me. I don't think so. All right, so now I'm going to do the highlights as well. So again, on this, I don't know the right places to put them. Ooh, that actually, ooh, big blobs. Big blobs. Okay, I don't know what's right and what's wrong. I don't worry about it. I just put it wherever I feel like it. And I've seen some people say you put it in like where you have the darker marker. Oops, gosh, I'm doing some user errors, which is not the fault of my little pen. I think mostly because it shows up better if it's on the darker area, but I don't know what's right or wrong. I just do it. And I say, if it makes you happy the way you do it, then you do it. If it stresses you out that you're going to mess up after spending all that time coloring, then don't do it. Because we really did spend a long time coloring. You guys are sweet to still be here with me, to be honest. And I am kind of looking at what I did before. Not that it was perfect, but it just, you know, it's easier to look at something than try to reinvent. Even when I'm like looking at my own stuff and redoing it, I still do it different. It's funny. Did that. There. Let's do something on this guy. Sometimes I put 2 dots after the line. Sometimes I don't put any dots. Sometimes I put 1 dot. Just whatever I'm feeling. Little dots. Behind the ear. Little thing there. On the bee, I went right across the whole shebang. And then chicken. And I think this foot gets covered, so it doesn't even matter. I did it anyway. Okay, now my last thing. I'll have to look up and see what you guys are saying in just a second here. I always make sure before I use this gel pen that it's, that it's writing before I go to my actual thing. But I love to dot the eyes on critters with this black, I said gel. This is a black glaze pen. And I also put it on the little noses. Just because I don't even know if you'll be able to see this on the camera, but having that little bit of black glaze on their eyes just makes them look more alive. Not that they're even supposed to when they're stuffed animals, but it just, I don't know. I just love it. It just gives it a little something more, just makes it stand out a little bit more. Of course, when I mess up and make it a line instead of just a dot, that makes me sad, but such is life. I am seeing a little mustache I forgot to do, but let's grab this out. I did that stripe on his hat as well. Okay. So can you see how those little details just add a little something more to our little scene that we've colored here? And I think also putting the white lines, the little highlights, kind of helps. I don't know, even if I didn't super love my blending of those olos, it just helps bring it together, having that line there. Almost like it hides some of my sins. I don't know. Let's see. You can use the colorless blender to remove gel pen that you don't like. I didn't know that. That's really cool. It may not work with this Posca pen because it's not gel, it's acrylic. Do you think it would work with that? I have no idea. Never tried. The other thing is I look at the edges, and if I went out of line along the edges of this, I might want to cover that with my Posca as well. But holy cow, I don't think I did this time, which is unheard of. Maybe a little bit on that foot, but I'm not going to worry about it. On this one, I don't know where, but I know I definitely covered up some things with the paint because I had gone out of the lines. So, when I use my markers, I usually use the brush tip. And actually, I don't even have the chisel tip, or I don't have a fine tip or a chisel tip on these. I only have this brush because the way Olos are, I put two barrels together. And I opted for brush tip on both because that's all I ever use. If Olo ever comes out with a smaller bullet nib, I may change them out, but I don't think. Last I knew, they didn't have those yet. But on Copics, my Copics, I have the sketch markers. And right now I have just the chisel and the brush. I was going to go grab one. I don't know if Mari's even still here, but I'm going to go grab one anyway. I'm going to flip this over because that white glob of paint is worrying me that I'm going to accidentally set something in it. Let me go grab a Copic because I was going to compare those for you guys. And then also my color chart for the Olos just to show you. And then we'll get this card finished and yeah, be fun. So hold on one second. I haven't heard about new colors yet. I know somebody earlier said, Peggy, that they might be coming out in April. Okay, one second, guys. I'm step into the other side of my room real quick. I said real quick, but in reality, I've been sitting here for too long. So when I stood up, it took me a second to get going. So this is the Copic marker, right? And it has the gray line there so you can tell which end is going to have your brush tip. And Mari, I don't know if you're here, but maybe if not, you'll watch it later on replay. But these are the two brushes, and I would say they're fairly similar. I think maybe the Copic is just a tiny bit more of a fine point. Let's see if there's something I can hold up to make that easier for you to see. But they're very, very similar. So if you're used to using a brush tip on the Copic, using it on the Olo is not that much different. But again, on the sketch markers for Copic, they come with the chisel, and I never ever use that, to be honest. And so someday I might, on the colors I use the most, I might change those out to bullet, but I never have. And if Olo ever comes out with a bullet nib, the bullet is like the little tiny one that, like, if you ever watch Jen Shirkus do classes or anything, she uses her bullet nibs a lot on her teeny tiny lawn fawn images. Yeah. One of their designers shared that in the comments of the live stream by Amy. What did they share, Adriana? I think I might have missed what you're talking about. Oh, that it's coming in April? Maybe that's what you meant. All right, so we have our little guys all colored. Let's get this card done. Oh, that's the other thing I wanted to show you. This is my hex chart filled in with all my Olo markers. These are the ones that they have currently. They are going to hopefully have new colors, and then I'm probably going to have to get a different hex chart of Sandy. Sandy Alnock is the one who made this. That's the name, Sandy Alnock. And I just think it's very handy. This shows you colors that she's grouped together that kind of go together, even if they're not the same, letter or whatever. Like here's R next to RVs. And so, those two are very similar, even though they're RV versus R. I don't know, it just helps me have a good visual of how the colors kind of work together. And I printed this on Nina cardstock, I think, so that it's a cardstock that I actually use when I color. And I also have the hex chart for the Copic markers. And so I've used this many, many a time. So just another cool tool that Sandy has available for people. She also is the one that has the Olo to Copic and Copic to Olo conversion as well. All right, let me get this out of the way. So to do the background on my card, if you can even see it on here, it's just very lightly inked with pink. I use the Cotton Candy ink from MFT. Yeah, yes, Wendy, I agree. Her hex charts are game changers for good blending. I agree. So I'm getting out my awesome ink stand, which I love, which holds my ink in place while I do my blending. I want to get these out. I just don't want to mess up my little guys that I spent so long coloring. And I'm just using a blending brush. You can use a blending foam tool or however you like to blend ink. I like to tap off a little and then just go gently onto my cardstock. Well, I can't wait for April now because I really am excited to get some new colors for Olo. Although I will say there's something to be said about the fact that there's a lot less Olo colors right now than there are like Copics. It just makes I just have a little bit of an easier time picking colors because there isn't such a overwhelming number of colors to have to choose between, if that makes any sense. So I love it. I love their colors, but there are some holes that they could definitely fill in a little bit. All right, so there's my pink background. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and die cut this first, I think. So I did use a stitched rectangle around the edge of it. There's two stitched rectangle stacks sets at MFT. This is set 1, this is set 2. I used the biggest one in set 2. I'm just going to run that through my die cutting machine. My die's a little bit warped from using it a lot. Oh, that's good to know, Tiffany. I didn't even realize that. So hopefully that's a hole they're going to fill in. I have no idea. Hopefully. Yeah, a lot of their it's like reds and oranges, ORs that are kind of the browns. I just think that's interesting. I don't know, maybe I guess it's ease in Copic. But, and even some of their grays are just a little bit of a weird gray, I think. It's showing more gray on my screen than it is in person. These RGs have, I think it's red gray, and so it has a lot of red to it. But all right, I'm gonna just put this through my die cutting machine really quick. I don't think oops, hold on. I'm off screen doing my die cutting, and my I had a little piece of tape there, but it came undone, and so it was going off my panel, which is not good. But I was just gonna say, I don't think I've colored people in a really long time. Like, I've colored a lot of critters, but I haven't done skin tones coloring. I don't even remember the last time that I colored people. Okay. So there's my little die cut panel. I left my ink open because the other thing I did on this, I love the look of splatter. And so I'm probably going to splatter on everything here. But I just take this face down onto my mat here, my glass mat, add some water to it, and then grab a paintbrush. Try to pick some up. Let me see. Let me just try to get on screen so you can see here. And I'm just going to tap my paintbrush and add some splatters to my background. I'm a fan of the splatter. I think I did in my last little class as well. Okay. Now I need that to dry because I also have to do my message. And then we just make our little channel for our slider and we'll be done. I don't have a thing of water to clean my brush in. When I don't have water to clean my brush, I just go like this. If I have a spray bottle here and no cup of water, and then just kind of clean it like that. And I don't have a heat tool plugged in, so I'm just gonna have to kind of go like this. Team splatter, yes. Let's see. I think I talked a little bit about it, Rosie. Let me see. I'll go back to me for a second. This is how it's coming along. Where's I can't point the right way. No, over there. My shelves are empty. That's why it's so echoey in here, because I need to put things on my shelves and bring all my stuff back in. So I don't have a lot of stuff, but I am loving my room. I think part of me is honestly afraid to mess it up because I was such a slob before that I'm afraid to bring all my stuff back into this room and make a mess again. I really, really want to be a person with a clean craft room. And it can be really, really clean when you have nothing in it. So I think that's what I'm doing here. Turn your page so splatters go in different directions. Oh, smart. So you could like splatter, turn. Tiffany has all the cool tricks. All right. Hopefully that's dry enough to stamp on. I may mess up my panel because I'm not being patient. Hopefully if you're making this at home, you have a heat tool or something that you could put on there to dry your little splatter that you just did. And then I'm coming in for a squish because our little kitty's coming in for a squish in that big pile. And I just have it up here in this corner. And I'm using my Misty to hopefully have it somewhat straight and do a good job. And I do have one of those waffle flower mat thingies in my Misty, so that's holding my cardstock in place. You gasped. Why did you gasp when I rubbed the paper? What did I do? Did I do something scary? Do you think my hands were inky? I don't know. Okay. Oh, smear the splatter. Yeah. Thankfully I was fanning it and it gotten pretty much dry. Now the moment of truth will be if I smear all this black because I am being too impatient. I have to go in for a second inking. See, it's not great. That I'm especially is missing some ink. I'm using my Extreme Black from MFT. And when I use this tool, I'm lightly pushing. I'm not pressing super hard because I want the ink to transfer, but I don't want to smush it down so that I deform my message and make it, you know, smushed out the way I don't want it. I'm just going to call that good. And I love the fonts and I love how delicate, I guess, is the word I'm trying to, I don't know. I love how MFT messages and stuff have such fine lines to them. It makes it really pretty. Really nice looking. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I just like it. All right. Oh, I'm going to take that stamp out and put it away. One of the things I have to do in my new craft room is actually clean up after myself. One of the ways I got into such a state is that I would do a live or, you know, go to a show or, you know, all the things. And I wouldn't like put things away, you know, and then it would get to be my next time I had to go live and all the stuff would still be here on my counter from the last time I went live. And so I would just kind of like put it into a bin on the floor, you know, and anyway, I'm trying to change my ways is all I'm trying to say here. Okay. So the other thing is I mentioned at the start, I use this cute little paper pad, which is the black and white stripes. So I'm going to go ahead and pull one of those out. I did the diagonal ones. I'm going to cut it down to 5.5 by 4.25, which is an A2 size panel. And I want that ready to go because I'm going to pop this panel up so that I can make my little channel for the slider. Okay. And I will put this on a card base someday. No, I have one right here next to me to put it on. Okay, I just think that little stripe is such a cute, diagonal stripe is such a cute little background on that. I love this paper pad. It's so cute. And it is currently out of stock at MFT. Sorry about that. But if you do the notify me, you can find out when it's back. I'm going to go ahead and put this on the card base. Yeah, that worked out really well. Okay. I know card bases are for card senders. I hardly ever put it on a base. I'm so bad. So that tells you how many cards I send, huh? Bad. Today is actually my son's girlfriend's birthday. And guess who bought her a card at Target today? Oh, good Lord. Me, the person who has all these things to make a card. I bought a card for her. That's just so wrong. All right, so I'm going to see where I want the things. I want that little guy. I mean, he kind of covers my chicken that I spent so much time coloring for no good reason. I guess on the original, he was kind of off more, so I could see more of the chicken. And then this guy is going to come sliding right down here to just jump on the pile of squishes, okay? And so let me find my little channel dies, my hop, skip, and a jump, right? And I used the medium one on the original card, right? I think. You could use whatever one you want. There isn't maybe enough room for that one. This one's, you know, a little shorter. I'm going to go for it. I'm going to use this one again. I'm going to have him coming in like that, I think. So did I save my tape that I just used? Yes. I want that one because hopefully the sticky's off of it a little. Okay, so I'm just going to die cut this, right? I just figured out where I wanted my little channel to be and I die cut it. And remember at the start of this, I took 2 of the little spin and slide discs and put them onto circles that I die cut. You can punch out circles, die cut, whatever. I just happened to have this one sitting here and it had little circles in it. And so I used this medium circle from this, just a little backtrack to what we did earlier. There's actually 3 sizes. This is so cute. This is the candy jars. And you can see I haven't actually made anything with it because it's still all together. Even though I was cutting out these circles, I still didn't cut it apart, which is kind of funny. But I want to make some candy jars because look at how cute they are. Oh my gosh, there's so many cute things at MFT. It just makes me crazy. I want to use it all, but yet I'm afraid to use my craft room. This is not complicated. This is so easy. So yes, this is a good one to ease in. All right, I'm off to the side die cutting. Okay, now I saved this little piece and I didn't have to, but I didn't want to have this black and white showing behind. I mean, you can, it's not a big deal, but I tried. It's not perfect on this one. You can still see the edges of it a little, but I put it on here centered as best as I could center it. And then put a little glue down and basically covered that up so that you wouldn't see the stripes going through. But then I'm going to pop up the rest of the panel. You'll see as I do this, but I'm just putting that in place where hopefully I'll want it in a minute. Oopsie. Okay, I'm going to set a thing on that so the glue can dry. And then what you do is you can do one of 2 things. So I already have circles on one side of this. I can just glue it right onto my cat. And I think that's what I might do this time is glue it right on. But you kind of want to put this in the channel and see where you want it to be on your cat. Right there. And again, if you weren't here at the beginning, Simple Creations by Zaya's her name. I used Olo markers. These are the Olo markers that I use to color. And if you just got here, this will be available for a replay, so you can certainly go back and watch. But there's 2 ways to do the slider, right? So when I made my card, it was my first time doing one of these, and I just used one of those little discs, and he can spin, which is cute. If you want a spinny kitty, there's nothing wrong with that. Spin, spin, spin. But if you don't want it to be spinny and you want it to only go down your channel, you put 2 little discs on the back and it keeps it stationary. All right. And so on this one today, I am going to go ahead. I don't know if anyone, I don't think Jody's watching, but I'm just going to glue it right on to my cat. Am I doing anything wrong here? I don't think so. I'm just going to put it right on my cat. So I could put the circles and then put it onto the cat like that, but I am just putting it straight on, and I'm going to let that dry for a second. And I just did the circles on the discs at the beginning so that had time to dry. What if you ink up a larger square to put behind the slider instead of that little, yeah, that would be super smart, Tiffany. Then that would cover the whole area and you wouldn't see any edges of the stripe. That's super smart. That's just not something that I'm going to do right now. So you can either put your little strip back in place, but if you want to make it easier on yourself so you don't have to worry about lining it up and so that it covers more of it, you could just put another inked piece back there. That's super smart. You're so smart. I don't know why I can't think of simple things like that. It's kind of funny. All right. So you want it to be thoroughly dry before you try to slide him, but see how he slides now? Super easy through that channel, and he'll go right down in there. So now I don't want this to be flat on my card, right? Because I want to have room. I'm off camera, I'm sorry. I want to have room for him to slide. And so I'm going to put foam tape on the back of this. And this is oops, I just knocked over a bunch of paper. This is a, I don't know, I think this might be scrapbook adhesives by 3L that I have here. Here's my scissors. So I'm going to cover the whole back with this. And when you're putting the foam, you just want to make sure you're leaving enough space so you're not blocking any part of where the kitty has to travel along his little track, right? So just be aware of that as you're doing it. Yeah, putting two so he doesn't spin. I mean, there might be some cards you make where you want it to spin around like that, right? I mean, it could even on this one. It doesn't have to not spin. I just didn't want it to, you know. I wanted him to just kind of be jumping in, not doing somersaults. So, yeah, so that's why I did it. Again, there's a lot of space there, but you just don't want to have your foam go right up against those discs so that it'll block the flow of your kitty. The flow. And I'm putting, you know, maybe more tape than I need, but I want to make sure that my card doesn't sink in as if I actually do mail it. And actually, speaking of that, I think I will mail it because I thought it'd be fun to just give away this card that I made tonight to someone who comments. And so to do the giveaway, I'm going to leave it open until maybe through Sunday. Is that enough time? I'm going to leave it open till Sunday, but you have to comment, not here in the chat, but in the actual comments, you know, the normal comments on this YouTube video. If you leave me a comment in there, you'll be in the running for me sending you this card. If that's even anything you want, I don't know. But anyway, I thought that'd be fun to do a little giveaway of the card I made tonight. And I am cutting these in half and trying to put some along here so that just so this corner is taped down. Well, it wasn't a giveaway until 2 seconds ago when I decided to make it one. So yes, thought that would be fun. Just make sure that, you know, either if you're watching on replay later or you're watching tonight, that you go in and put a comment in the regular comment section of this YouTube video. Because for one thing, I'll be able to find that easier later on. But also, you know, it's good. It helps MFT to have comments like that on their YouTube videos, right? Okay, so now because I didn't do it Tiffany's way. Oh, all right. My foam tape decided that that's where it's going to go. So, and by the way, also, see, I have a little bit showing because my foam tape had a mind of its own. But anyway, look how cute, how easy it is. And it spins. And you can see a little bit of that background, but take Tiffany's advice and put a different square behind there if you don't want to have anything showing, because she's so smart. All right, I'm going to put these down with one layer of foam. And if Brianne is still listening, you may remember that she earlier told me I needed to go to the post office. So I will admit, I really stink at mailing things, and Rosie knows that too from past experience. But I will do, I am going to mail out this card in a timely manner, I promise. So I have promised that I'm going to do it. So anyway. And I hope when you leave a YouTube comment, I'll be able to track you down and figure out who you are and where to send it. Okay. Brianne was here earlier, but she was busy working on stuff while she was here. So I'm not sure if she's still listening or not. Okay. Yes, Holly and Lee will bug me as well. Between the three of them, they'll make sure I stay on top of it. That's pathetic. No, it's new me, new craft room, new me. I'm going to be able to mail things, right? Hi, Judy, and thank you. Yeah, make sure you're putting comments if you want this card in the main comment section. Do that after. Don't leave me right now to go comment. Remember to do it after we're done. Oh, so if you didn't see what I did there, I covered up my chicken more than I meant to. I put 2 layers of foam underneath the purple bear because he's off to the side. And then I did 1 layer of foam where he overlaps because this already had a layer of foam and I wanted to make sure that it was popped up evenly, you know? So here we go. Here's our card. Yay, we got it all done. And that just slides down and he's coming in for a squish. And it's super cute. Let's see. Thank you so much, Judy. Yeah, I know. Tiffany, it's not even just going, it's packaging things up that I trip up on as well. Yeah, Holly says, you're going to be so sick of me. I'm going to be sick of them saying post office. Thank you for the how do you say that? Dag-gummed cute. Said like a woman who's married to a country boy. All right, I'm going to go back to me now. So, woohoo, almost 2 hours to make 1 card. But here we are. It was a lot of coloring, you guys. And I am a slow colorer, and I'm sure you guys don't want me rushing through the coloring even more than I did because, I don't know. I'm sure some of you were way ahead of me if you're making it with me. And others, you're even, the same as me. So anyway. So now you know how to use these cute little hop, skip, and a jump. And there's also some straight ones at MFT. So like if you had a set that has a car, you could put it straight and it could be going across your card like this, all kinds of fun ways to do the little channels like that. And there are some YouTube videos on the site, on the, just regular pre-recorded YouTube videos on using those kinds of things as well. So I hope you enjoyed watching and thank you guys for being here. And again, comment in the main comments if you want to maybe win my card and I will mail it because everyone's going to make sure I do. And thank you for being here and watch. If you guys enjoy this, well, first of all, next Tuesday is going to be our release day for the March release and it's awesome. And I'll be live at 2 p.m. Eastern going through the whole release, doing an overview, sharing samples from the design team and everything of the new products. And on Tuesday, we'll announce when the next one of these classes will be far in advance, so everybody knows. And if you want to get the things that I'll be using during that class from the new release, you'll be able to do that. And I'm not sure yet when it will be. It will be later in March so that there's time for packages to arrive before I do the class. But if you enjoyed it, look for the next one. And hopefully we'll craft together again soon. And again, thank you guys for being here. I had fun chatting with you and coloring and making this card. All right. Take care, everyone. Good night.